Hi, this is Denise Mathew, and today I'm going to do 3 pairs of really quick earrings. They're probably less than 5 minutes a pair, and they're going to be sort of a holiday themed earring. So the first one I'm going to do now is a Christmas tree earring, and what I did was I just did a little scroll on the bottom. You can use a head pin if you prefer, but I don't have a head pin, so I'm just going to use this little scroll on the bottom, and that's going to keep my beads on. Now these are Margarita beads, and they're sort of Swarovski Margarita beads, and they're in different sizes, and I will give you the sizes. I'll write them on the beginning of the video. So now I'm just going to put one. I think that's 10 millimeter, and then I'm going to have 2 more. These are 8 millimeters each. Okay. I'm just stringing them on to that wire, and again, like I said, you can use a head pin if you prefer. And so I've got one 10 millimeter and 2 8s, and I believe this is a 6. Okay, and to finish it off, I have a green crystal again, and basically all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to make a loop on the end to hang it as an earring, and if you wanted to, you could do this as a pendant too. And I've done several of these wrap loops, so I'm not going to show that to you. And then now the scroll is a little off to the side, so what I can do is I can bring it to the center of the bead. Okay, and then I would have my, even if it's a little off center, it's fine. Now after that, all I have to do is open an ear wire. I have some pre-made ear wires here, and I will put that on, and you have a cute little Christmas tree earring that took literally a minute to make. Okay, so that's one. Okay, and now I'm going to do a different version, same concept. Okay, and I'm just going to make a little, just a little bit of a kind of a partial loop here on the end instead of the scroll, just for a different look. Okay, basically that's all I'm doing, and you can be a little neater with it than I am. And I'm just going to string the beads on like I did before, same concept, very easy. And they're really nice looking little earrings, even though they take almost no time to make. That's the nice part about it. Okay, and I have this little star Amazonite bead that I can use as a star bead, and for the star for the top of the Christmas tree instead of the crystal. And I just happen to have that available, and that's a different look. Okay, and again, wrap loop on the top, add it to, and you can play with the colors. I mean, if you want to go, I believe they have green Margarita, Margarita beads that you can do instead, and that's it. Put it on the ear wire, or again, like I said, you could even put it on a circle, just like a little round circle, so you can make it as a pendant. So that's one pair of earrings, 2 different looks. Okay, and another idea, now this is snowmen, and again I'm going to start with a little scroll on the bottom here, and I've done scrolls many in the past, so I'm just going to do a really quick scroll. Alright, a little bit. I'm going to string on. I've got a few different beads here, so basically this is a it's a faceted pearl. So I'm going to string that on. Okay. And what I'm going to do with this one, instead of leaving it below, I'm just going to push it up around the bead so that you have that sort of a look. So basically I've just done the scroll, pushed it up. Okay. Now, next thing I'm going to do is to separate the two halves of the snowman. I have a little belly spacer. I think that's about a 2 millimeter. Okay, so put that on. And now I have a mother of pearl round bead. Okay, and now I have my snowman almost made. And now on the top, this is part of your hat, and then I have a square Swarovski, struggling to say that word, crystal for the top, and that will give you your little, and that's your snowman. And all you have to do now is close the loop. Again, you can play with the colors, play with the style of you could do this with crystals, you could do it with colors, you could do it with, they have like a flat bead on top, so that's sort of what you come up with. Okay, and the last one I'm going to do is, again, I have these leaf style beads. Now, if you can find a holly bead, they would work even a little bit better than this, but this is what I have, so I'm just going to do a little loop. Okay, and I'm going to have this as the top part of my earring, so I'm just going to do it like that. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is just make a partial loop. Okay, now what I've done is I've made a few little charms, and this is something I've done several times before, but I'll just show you one more time. You can use a head pin again for this, but since I don't have a head pin, I'm just going to make a little loop on the end, string my bead on. These are little ruby beads I have, but like a red crystal would be really cute too. In like a round red crystal of some sort, or whatever you have on hand. I just strung it on, and then I'm just going to close the loop, just to round it, a wrap loop, and make it big enough so that it can string on. And now I'm just going to string that right on this wrapped loop that I've started here. Okay, so we have one, and I have more here. 2, and generally it's about 3. You can do more if you want, but I'm just going to go with 3. Okay, and right on there. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close that loop up. And this is giving you sort of the idea that it's holly. Okay, and so there you have sort of a holly themed earring. Again, you just put it on a ear wire. I'll show you that in just a minute. I'll just close this up, and you have yourself, and I mean, if you wanted to do more and just have it sort of right on top to have more than I have, you could do that as well, but this is just sort of to give you an idea what you can do. Okay, and okay, so there are 3 different style of earrings for the holidays, and this concludes the tutorial. Thanks for coming. If you would like to see more of my videos, please like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for coming. Bye.